We time.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Welcome to another smoke session. It's your boy, Brother Jam,
Your boy Black and Bobby.
Low, brother Low, starting the cam.
and welcome to the smoke session. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
As always, we appreciate y'all tuning in and chilling with us. Uh, Man, okay. So we was just talking about some anime series that we used to watch, and if any of y'all out there familiar with a show called Fairy Tale, and a show what was the other one we were just talking about? Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah,
Seven Deadly Sins. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't bad mouthing either show. It's just that they get both shows had a common thing. They were long, first of all, and then on top of that being that long, they got repetitive, and so the shows just became cyclic. Where the character was going to find somebody who was stronger than them, then they was going to have to go through some shit to get stronger. Then once they got stronger, they went back and fought that bad guy again, and then they won, came out triumphant. But oh no, that caused some other tragedy. So now they got to go and fix that problem. And I mean, don't get me wrong. And for the first couple of seasons of both of those shows, they made the journey kind of fun, especially when they was like introducing characters. But of course, the problem with that is you can't keep introducing new characters.
Yeah.
So once you get a stable kind of roster of characters to deal with, and occasionally throw in some interesting villains maybe, but you just kind of wind up going through the same cycles. It's power up, power up, power up, power up. So I mean, your opinion may be different.
I'm saying with me, cause one, I'm an old head. It was one that came out a long time ago. We're just talking about anime for right now. And that I had to rewatch, even though it's over 1,000 episodes of this shit. One Piece.
Oh Jesus! You watched One Piece more than once?
I've actually got kind of hooked to One Piece, even though it's a lot of fillers and just really a lot of bullshit. But I got invested in the characters because the characters, they weren't introducing like brand new characters every single time, but they did their 5, maybe 6 characters, their main characters, and then they went in depth on those characters.
Okay.
But even though the series itself is silly as fuck, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean,
but one thing I did like about the series is the way they drew it and their, how can I put it? Big titties, bouncing, and ass.
That's what they have in there?
Yes. They actually push the sexual part of that. Meaning it's like,
I know why he was hooked.
I've seen some.
overdrawn.
I've honestly never watched One Piece. But I've seen clips of it, so I know what you're talking about. But yeah, they definitely got some bouncy females in that one.
Yeah, they pushed that envelope.
But you know what though, we're gonna have to talk about anime more on a later on episode, man.
Yeah.
I think we barely touched the surface on different animes and things like that. So I think we might have to make that another episode, man.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Okay. So we came here tonight to talk about Moon Knight. Okay. Now, let's be honest. I was not a big fan of Moon Knight. Moon Knight was not a character when I was, heavy into comics that was really on my radar. I was aware of Moon Knight. I kind of knew who Moon Knight was, but I did not really read his comics and only came into contact with him when he crossed over into other stuff,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Midnight Suns, that kind of stuff. I was aware of who Moon Knight was, but I honestly have to say, after watching the first episode, and mind you, we're filming this where the first episode is the only thing that's out, so by the time y'all get to see this, we understand it's going to be a little bit out of date, but just take our opinions for what they might be worth if you haven't watched it yet. But man, this show is making me interested in Moon Knight. From the first episode, they did a very good job of building up a good mystery around the character, and you're left with some questions like, okay, what is that, and what did that mean, and yeah, you're like, okay, and let me tell y'all right now, if you haven't watched it, there's gonna be major spoilers as far as our conversation
Disney
tonight.
Plus,
So,
I gotta give it to you for
no.
actually.
But yeah, man, Disney Plus, I gotta tip my hat because they doing a damn good job with these Marvel shows, and Moon Knight is so far just based off the first episode seems really really interesting. So okay, for those who don't know the history, so Moon Knight was this mercenary named Mark Spector. He was son of a rabbi. He disliked his father because he thought his father was a coward, and this is the comic book version of the character now, mind you. So just to give you a little background, but he thought his father was a coward because during World War II his father ran from Germany to the United States instead of fighting, and so he thought he grew up disrespected his father. Therefore, he joined the military, became a mercenary eventually, and he wound up working for lack of a better term, a villain. And at the site of this work site where they were working, him and the villain got into a fight, and the guy basically beat him within an inch of his life. He basically was laying there dying on the floor, and this happened in Egypt as they was like stealing artifacts from like this tomb that they had found. And so just so happened to leave him dying at the foot of a statue of this Egyptian god named Khonshu. And so Khonshu, and if my man with the cam back there got the picture up, Khonshu is this Egyptian god with with like a bird skull for a head and like this a humanoid body, but it's an interesting depiction in my eyes of an Egyptian god. I actually kind of like it. I think it looks cool. But anyway, so Khonshu and Mark Spector basically make a deal where Khonshu's gonna save his life, but he got to become his avatar, and he's the god of the moon and vengeance. And so, needless to say, your boy wakes up with some new abilities. So yeah, and Moon Knight is born, but the character in the comic book is a lot different from the character that we're seeing on the TV show. But I'm kind of digging the differences. I mean, like,
because they're not gonna be accurate with it, but I'm applauding it. So far, if they can continue this, you got me sold.
So you like it just off the one?
Oh, dude, yeah.
So far, the first episode.
But right now, man, like I was telling Bob earlier, I was like, if they can keep this same energy throughout the rest of this series, man, I really think it's gonna be good, because in the show, Mark Spector is no, he's not going by Mark Spector. He's going by the other name I forgot.
Steven.
Steven, yeah. I forgot the last name though. But anyway, he's doing, because in the MCU Moon Knight, he has a dissociative personality disorder. And
I don't know how to respond to that.
Sorry, series. No, we're not asking you right now. Sorry for that, people.
Oh my goodness. She's just trying to get on the show, man. That's all. She was looking for 15.
Shout out to series.
But but so he's got the dissociative personality disorder, and so he's got like multiple personalities, and one of those personalities is Mark Spector, and Mark Spector is the Moon Knight, but Steven, I can't think of the rest of the last name, but that character doesn't know that the other two exist.
So Mark Spector's the dude in the middle there.
Yeah, Mark Spector's the one in the middle, and so what you're looking at is you're looking at the full blown Moon Knight on the right, Mark Spector in the middle, and then Mr. Knight, which is another personality that he develops as the story goes on, where at one point in the comics, and that's why I'm interested to see how they're going to do this on the show. But at one point in the comics, what winds up happening is he loses his powers because Khonshu rejects him. And so he basically decides to become like a street level crime fighter, but he does it kind of in the way of a crime boss. And so that's when he becomes Mr. Knight, the guy in the suit. So he's a depowered Moon Knight, but he's still like out fighting crime and shit.
That's what he wears.
Yeah, that's when he becomes Mr. Knight.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much the MCU version of Batman, but a darker Batman.
Well, yeah, because in the comics, one of his personalities was a billionaire, and he played the billionaire playboy role, but he was a self-made man.
Yeah.
He wasn't an inheritance baby. He was a
Money.
yeah, he was a mercenary, and he got rich being a mercenary. So he was doing some dirt. So your boy is a trained killer. I mean, you got to think about that. That's one of the things about Moon Knight is that his character was never. Matter of fact, his character was originally introduced as a villain in this comic book for another character called the Wolf by Night. There was a comic book. It was a werewolf. The main character was this werewolf, and Moon Knight was brought in as a villain for him. He was meant to just be a one-shot character for that comic book.
Yeah.
But the fans reacted to that character and was like, "Oh, we want to see more about that guy. Who is that guy?" And so then they decided to make him give him some other appearances in different comic books, and that's how the character gained popularity.
That's funny. And in Moon Knight, they have a villain or
Well, he's been up
Not
against.
everybody.
Yeah, he's been up. I mean, that's the thing about comic books. Now, in the comics, of course, you don't really have like arch villains kind of like that as much anymore. I mean, you do have some big bad guys who everybody's kind of had run-ins with, but you don't have these huge like. I don't know, the arch nemesis thing just kind of has gotten cliche in my opinion, so you don't see it all that much anymore.
Yeah.
But for Moon Knight, in the show, he's fighting a character played by Ethan Hawke.
Great actor.
Yeah. And I forgot to say, the guy playing Moon Knight,
Oscar.
Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Isaac, man. Okay, I got to give it to him, dude. He over the last years, because he was in Doom.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in Doom. The man's got some acting skills, okay?
And seeing this one episode of Moon Knight, and I can see that skill coming through.
Yeah.
Especially with the of course, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. But the whole I like to call it the William Dafoe looking in the mirror and acting off yourself type of vibe.
Man, that scene in the bathroom.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so at one point in the movie, he's getting chased by this like mummified, jackal-headed monster kind of thing.
It was a jackal.
Yeah. So he's getting chased by this, and so he runs into a bathroom, and this bathroom just so happens to have like mirrors going down both sides of the sinks, and so there's multiple reflections of himself, and then his reflection starts talking to himself. It was like because he's like, I'm gonna die. He's freaking out.
Calm down.
And so his reflection goes, "No, you're not. But you have to let me take over." And he was like, "But you're not real." He was like, "You're not real." He was like, "Just let me take over and I'll save us." And so you basically see him just give control over. He's like, "Okay." And then Boom. Soon as he takes over, the bandages start coming out. The hood comes up over his head. And next thing you know, the camera moves out. And just as the monster breaks down the door. And so it's like you're standing outside the doorway and you hear blah, 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 blah.
And you see the sink come out of nowhere. And then you see the jackal trying to run.
The jackal beast is like getting drugged back into the room. And so then the camera finally comes back around the corner, and Moon Knight standing on top of this thing, just beating the shit out of it. Oh man, it was a good scene. It was a really good scene. So if y'all get the chance, check it out. I guarantee you're gonna really enjoy the show. I mean, yeah. If it continues along that path, I think it's gonna be really good. So I hope they don't disappoint us. You know.
If they can continue with that. Oh, actually, before I even go with that, if I can give Mr. Lowe's a little bit more time. There was a scene when because it's the cinema, the way they did the cinematography.
Which one?
No, just the transition as far as Steven, the main character, played by Oscar.
Yeah.
Where he kind of fades out and then it comes back into reality.
Oh, the blackouts.
Yeah, the blackouts.
Yeah, that was fun. That was real fun when they were doing that scene,
especially with the winding road and all that.
A chase scene where your main character is blacking out because he's switching personalities.
That's crazy.
But one personality knows how to fight and like is handling it, but then the other personality, which is at least in this situation is an idiot, keeps popping back in. It's like at one point he came back and he was driving backwards down this mountain road, but he had bust out the front windshield and he had a gun and he had obviously been shooting at the dudes who was chasing him, right? When the other personality takes over, the wimpy one, he takes over and
throws the gun.
He like looks in his hand, realizes he's holding the gun, and he throws it. And the voice of Khonshu, the god, yes. He can hear him. And so you hear Khonshu go, "Did he just throw the gun? He just threw the gun."
Like he threw the gun.
Yeah, and then what Khonshu is like, just give your body over to Mark. You're like, we got the stupid one or the wimpy one is the worm or whatever.
They literally called him the dumb one keeps taking over.
Yeah.
What in this scene I'm about to show, what's going on there? The Khonshu and some dude there.
Oh, in that picture, give me 1 second. Yeah, he was that was a part of the comic book where Khonshu is a god for all intents and purposes and what that means in the Marvel universe. Okay. So
Egyptian.
But he is not a benevolent god. He has his own reasons for doing stuff. And they don't necessarily just are like, oh, I'm just looking to protect people. He is a god of vengeance. And of course, the moon throughout history has symbolically been connected with things like cunning and stuff like that. So yeah, he's got his own plans. And so at one point in the comics, Khonshu basically sends Mark on a mission to stop evil. And he starts going on this rampage where he's basically fighting other heroes and he's getting ways to take their abilities. And in that scene, what you're looking at is Khonshu standing over Mark Spector after he's conquered a couple of different heroes. If you notice, Thor's hammer is floating behind his head because Thor's hammer was made from a metal that's refined from moon rocks. And Khonshu is the god of the moon. So he can actually exert power over Thor's hammer, and that's how Moon Knight is able to wield it. I'm like, dude, the way that they thought some of these connections out is just fun.
It's one thing that I actually did like as far as visual wise. The main antagonist, or not the antagonist, supposed to be villain. With the balance of the scales being a tattoo,
Oh yeah.
and the two gator head cane, and holding it, and the way he can tell if your soul is, pretty much if you're good or bad, or where you're headed. It's not necessarily things that you did in the past. This is future things that you have no clue that you're about to do. So it was a kind of a balance that I liked. I mean, as far as the way the cane and sawing the
The
tattoo.
symbolism of
The symbolism
of the ritual kind of.
Yeah, because there was a scene where it was a dude that came up to him, and he was like, "Oh," and then saw the scales tipped towards his, "Oh, this is a good one. Oh, yes, you're good."
Right.
And then he had an old lady that walked up. He's like, "I've been good all my life." Her scale tipped the opposite way, and pretty much and from that point, well, not
whatever he did, she basically died instantly.
Yeah, it's almost like just drain the soul, or your soul is going here. But she was being judged for future things that she was going to be doing, not just things that she's already
That's
done.
crazy.
Yeah,
I've been good all my life. Yeah, but not yet.
Well, see, and so like
I ain't did that shit yet.
that dude. Okay, that character is Arthur Harrow, and he's for lack of a better term, at least as far as we know, he's the villain in the series so far. And so he is basically like a priest, a cult leader, but this cult worships Ammit. If I'm saying it right, I think it's Ammit or something like that.
you're close.
So, this is the god in Egypt that was the judger of souls when you died. So when you went to Egyptian afterlife, you went before what was it? I think it was Anubis who would weigh your heart on a scale versus this golden feather. And if your heart was heavier than the scale, then you got the bad afterlife, and Ammit got to eat you. But if you
Eternal torture.
and so if your heart was lighter than the feather, then you got the good afterlife, and you went on to like do other stuff. I don't remember, but that's who Ammit was. And so this guy is basically judging souls, and you don't like, okay, everybody can have secrets in their past. You could say, "Oh, I've been a good person all my life," and think, "Oh, that one thing that I did that don't nobody know about."
Nah.
You know, blah, 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 blah.
Nah.
But what he was saying is that it's possible, because like that old lady, he was like, but she was like, "I've been good my whole life." Yeah, but it might be something you haven't done yet. So it's not just judging you on future, but he's saying like it could be judging you on some future stuff. But
You know, let me get there. You killing me now.
but the thing about Ammit
But you
is,
want to be judged right then and there. So,
But the thing
it's
about-
on you.
the thing about Ammit is in her role as the devourer of souls, she has an incentive to lie because she likes to eat souls, and that makes her more powerful. So that don't mean that person was necessarily even bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's because if I remember, and I'll go a little into Egyptology,
isn't it?
Egyptian mythology. That's what I'm trying to say. If I remember correctly, that was one of the problems with Ammit, is that she would get greedy and sometimes want to like eat more souls than she was supposed to. And I think that's what or at least to me, that's where I'm thinking the villain part of this is going to be kind of going. So we'll see what happens. But you know, so the actor is Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
And he's playing this character Arthur Harrow, and so that's what he's doing. He's like judging these souls using a cane as like the thing, but he has the tattoo of a scale on his arm, which moves as the people are being judged. So you see it rock back and forth a little bit, and then it'll go to one side or the other. And if it goes on the negative side, then you die
Yeah, pretty much so.
instantly. Like, and it was just death. Didn't seem to hurt, at least.
It was quick.
It was definitely quick.
It was quick.
But yeah, man. I will to just sum up. I'll say that I really enjoyed that first episode, and if Marvel is able to keep that kind of intensity and fun in the continuing episodes, then I think it'll be a good show. So far, it seems to be telling a good, interesting story, and I think with this character, especially being with his mental conditions, that it's going to make the story interesting, because one of the things that they used to talk about in the original Moon Knight series back in the comics was that it was never clear if Khonshu was real or if Khonshu was part of his mental illness.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, he had the multiple personalities, but in the comics, he wound up, he created the personalities to let him do different things. But he created the personality so well that each one became a thing kind of on its own. And he didn't know where one stopped and another one started, kind of. But in the show, it seems like they're doing it a little bit differently. But yeah, so in the comics, it was never really clear if he was crazy or if he really did speak to a god that gave him superpowers.
Mental health.
So,
mental health.
It's like, is he doing all this stuff just because he believes he can? But then I want to say, I think it was in the 90s in the comic book that they finally, somebody, started redoing his story, modernizing it, how they did back then. Yeah. So they moved him up instead of being, because I think in the original story he was a Vietnam vet. And then now they moved him up to like a Gulf War vet or something like that.
Yeah, so, I think it's like 3 different stories on that.
Right, they gotta modernize the character, but when they did, they made it concrete that Khonshu is real. So Khonshu now is that part of it, at least he's not crazy on that part. We know for sure. So now the story is just he's got all of these he's got these multiple personalities in his head and has to deal with that on top of trying to be a hero.
All right, let's move on.
What else are we talking about today? You know what? I want to know about this bullet train. What is it? This is about movies. Y'all talking movies?
Yeah.
Upcoming movies that are upcoming movies. That's what we're talking about. So
just to touch on a few things that you know how you scroll through and you come across one of those trailer videos on YouTube where it's like, oh, the hottest movies coming up in 2022, and I like those, man.
Some shit you never even heard of.
I was always a fan. Like, one of my favorite things about going to the movies when growing up was watching the trailers.
See what's coming.
Yeah, because hey, I didn't even know that was coming out, right. And that's exactly what winds up happening when I start going down these lists like that. But I was looking at one of those and I was like, man, let's talk about some movies that's coming up. Maybe it could be something that somebody else might be interested in. Right, if you may, like one of the movies that is on my list actually has already come out. So somebody who's watching this might have seen it. And if you have an opinion on it, hey, let us know down in the comments. Leave a couple of, and while you're at that, hit the like button, share.
Yes, don't forget
all of that.
Share.
But my first movie that I want to talk about was a movie called Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt. This movie, man, okay, it's kind of like those old school heist movies almost, but this is done with a twist because in the movie, Brad Pitt is supposed to be like a retired hitman, and he's got out of jail, but of course he still needs to make money, so he's trying to do a job where he just is supposed to pick up a briefcase and deliver it to somebody. Yeah. Right? Sandra Bullock is playing his handler from what I could tell from the trailer, but they don't show her face in the trailer. You just see her talking to him, like her mouth moving and stuff. But then, of course, when the package he's supposed to pick up is on a bullet train. So he gets on the train. He's thinking, I'm just going to get my package, ride to where I'm going,
get the fuck off,
get off and mind my business. But he's not the only one looking for for the briefcase, and that's where the fun part starts.
I actually
Because
forgot about that.
it's basically just him fighting, trying to hold on to this briefcase, and work through this train. And that one shot with him and the brother, sitting at the table together. That shot is a scene where they was they were sitting in this booth in the train, and the car was called the quiet car. So it's like where you couldn't come in and make a lot of noise, but they're fighting over the briefcase and they're trying to do it quietly. So they're like punching each other, but each one going, doing stuff like that. When I saw that shit in the trailer, I was like, okay. And I'm glad Brad Pitt is playing up to his age.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Grab something.
But I'm glad Brad Pitt is playing up to his age, because at his age, you need to recognize, okay, I'm not young. You don't need to try to play the characters like you're young. And he's playing this old, washed out, criminal basically. And I thought that seemed like a really cool role for him. It reminds me of when he used to play Floyd on the couch back in the days when he was in True Romance. Yeah, but that was that.
Right.
But check it out, man. It seems like it's gonna be an interesting movie. I think it comes out in July. I don't remember
July
the date.
5th, I think it said.
So yeah,
July 15th.
July 15th. So be sure and check that out when it comes out. I think it's gonna be funny. But what's one of the ones you wanted to talk about?
Actually, because I had several. Give me a recap.
Well, the first one is Doctor Strange.
Oh yes, the multiverse of madness. Doctor Strange.
Talk to us.
Oh man, I can't wait for this movie. To be honest with you, the next installment of the Marvel movies. I want to see where they go with this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been watching a lot of what ifs, and I know some things about Doctor Strange, and also the way they're tying the MCU into the little mini, installments.
The miniseries is
from Loki to other shit.
WandaVision.
Yeah. And also having that little brief glimpse of Professor X, the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting when they pull that one out, because
yes,
I can't wait. If they're introducing Professor X into the MCU,
I know,
then that means we get a whole new set of mutants.
Yes, or mutants, just period, just mutants.
But you can't have. I mean, well, theoretically,
we haven't seen.
Theoretically, you could have some of the same actors, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna get all new actors.
Ain't gonna be no Hugh
right,
Jackman.
Ain't gonna be no Hugh Jackman. We need a new Wolverine. Let's get a new Storm, a good Storm. Let's get a good Storm.
I'll still bang. I'll still bang
one here.
Man, look, don't make me think I gotta drive home in that, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, and what they can do with the multiverse now that that's a thing in the MCU.
And then they already concreted that with Spider-Man No Way Home, as far as what's the word I'm looking for? The way they just did the multiverse at the end of that movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Great movie. Or you can pick it up on, I don't know what it's coming out on, but go see
platform.
It. Well, platform. But well done, because at the end of that, spoilers, there was a crack in the spell that Doctor Strange cast.
Oh, okay.
You have to really pay attention, but they actually showed Kraven the Hunter, Rhino, actually other characters in this little small crack, even Miles Morales.
Wow. Okay.
And then going by the way the MCU is doing their, their little small, what's the word I'm looking for? Their little small snippets in there. I'm loving it. and I'm still waiting for what Kang the Conqueror and stuff like that. And no, I'm waiting for this movie.
Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be really good.
With the Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Doc Strange.
Where do y'all think they're gonna go from there?
Man,
They
You might think maybe the X-Men start bringing them in.
eventually they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to.
because right now they're thinking about they're already in production, She-Hulk and other things.
Yeah,
So it's like, okay, I just want to see how they can.
because
Put
there's
this
even
together.
supposed to be another Black Panther movie coming out.
Yeah,
But I think they're gonna do like the comic books, because in the comic books, Shuri, his sister, winds up becoming Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
in the comics, she became the next Black Panther.
So
She's the first female up there.
I hope so. That'll be so dope, man. That'll be so dope to have a female Black Panther. That'll be cool.
Well, she knows all the gadgets and shit.
Right, she makes all the gadgets. She's the tech one in the family. But
Just keep Will Smith out your mouth. I'm sorry. I know.
keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm sorry. It's the meme.
Clown.
Motherfucking mouth off
Wow.
my dick.
And she was right behind that. So she right behind
Clown.
Will.
That's
So
all I can
That was
say.
the girl from that. Yeah, that's the sister of Black Panther. That's who was sitting with, I think.
yeah. She
Oh
was,
yeah, no.
That was not her.
That wasn't the sister.
That was Lupita.
That was Lupita. That was the love interest in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that he was crazy about. But eventually in the comic book, he wound up marrying Storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a power couple. If you.
she was literally the queen of Wakanda. Yeah.
Cool.
So Black Panther and Storm got married, and they had a kid, and their kid had a combination of both their abilities. Like it had
Power couple.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite like superhero pair ups when they put those two together. And then in the comics they did like a royal wedding. It was really dope. It was really dope.
Coming to America type. Boom. Meet my queen. You heard that shit?
Now your voice too deep. You gotta hit your
It's like, what do you like to eat? Whatever you like.
Right.
It's like I will do. Say, so you do anything I ask? He's like, yeah. It's like bark like a dog. Woof.
And she
Woof.
does. That's
Woof.
crazy.
Say bark like a big dog. Woof.
I don't want no wife that does that shit. Fuck
Nah,
that.
dog. That's not a wife. That's a slave. Nah.
Yeah, basically.
But another movie that I was looking forward to is this movie called Nope by your boy Jordan Peele. Now, first of all, I gotta give him props because when I saw this one, the title alone just kind of got my attention. Just Nope. Just
Right.
that's like the blackest thing you could say in a horror movie, and it's a horror movie, but it's like the blackest thing. Just no, I'm not no. Because okay, so the movie is about this young black rancher named played by Keke Palmer.
Yeah.
Her cute self. But so played by Keke Palmer, and she is running this like Hollywood ranch that like where they basically like use their horses in movies.
Yeah, her first. I think her dad was the first to actually.
Not her dad. It was like a great
Yeah,
grandparent.
Right.
yeah, something like that.
Great.
Yeah, it was like a great grandparent who was like the first movie image, which was like only a couple seconds long, was of a black man riding a horse. She said, and she said that black man was her great grandfather, so that they had always been dealing with horses in the movie. Was the line from the trailer. So I thought that was kind of cool. But then from what you can see in the trailer, just weird stuff starts happening around her ranch. And there's I can't tell if he's supposed to be a brother, a husband, or whatever his role is from the trainer, but he seems to be on the trailer with her, Daniel. And I know I'm gonna mess up this man's last name, but it's Kaluuya. Kaluuya.
Damn.
Yeah. But he was in matter of fact, he was in Black Panther. You remember the dude who led the rhino troops?
Oh, I like to call it the Gorilla Tribe, but
No, not the Gorilla Tribe. That's the mountain niggas. That's I was trying to say Umfufu, but that's not,
not Mfufu.
that's not
No, not Mfufu.
That's who it is. This is
Give me half. Give me half.
But
The shit.
so that dude, he was in Black Panther, and like I said, Kiki Palmer. They appear to be the two main characters. But like weird stuff started happening on their ranch, and like there's this like something going on with like the clouds, and then there's like animals who start like floating away and stuff, and it seems really wild, but you have no idea as to what's causing it by what they show you in the trailer. So obviously you're gonna have to watch the movie to find out what's going on.
Aliens and black folks. Nope.
But yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a
Aliens
really
and black folks. That's what I look at. Aliens and
nope.
black folks.
Just nope, just no.
Like, know that today.
Like nigga, you no.
Aliens and black folks.
Like, don't even try that.
But yeah, man. So I think, and I gotta give it to your boy Jordan Peele, man.
He's a good director
He,
and writer.
everything he does is not necessarily my cup of tea. I do enjoy some of his movies. I can't say I like all his movies, but for doing what he's doing, man, I gotta show that brother mad respect and tip my hat to him, because he doesn't just choose any old BS scripts, to do. He's writing and producing these movies in such a way where you can tell he's putting thought behind this. And even if, like I said, even if his art, and his vision sometimes may not appeal to me, I respect the man's art and skill, for sure, in everything he does. So yeah, man, much appreciation to Jordan Peele, man. Keep doing what you're doing, because brother, you making some badass movies.
Yeah, that says on there 7/22/22.
Yeah.
When that movie actually shows.
So it'll be interesting, and y'all can see by the picture there that horse is floating up into the sky. So that just tells you, what better name could they have given a black horror movie than just Nope?
Ain't that something that makes you think like, nope? Mm-hmm. Like it said, whatever's going on, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Hell no, this is not.
It's time for me to get the fuck up out of here.
This is not gonna get me. Fuck all that.
And then and then not only that, a good comedian, because he started out on Mad TV. So this is where I first known him from.
Yeah. Then they got the Key and Peele show.
Yeah.
I wonder how your boy Peele feel.
Feel. Feel it and feel it.
I wonder how, because I mean, okay, and I'm not saying like Peele, like his career just over or nothing, but let's face it, out of that duo, your boy Jordan Peele really came out to star. He's like Busta Rhymes remember when he was with Leaders of the New School?
Yeah. But the thing is, those two, their chemistry. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this chemistry here. They just work well together.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like I said, his career is definitely taken off. So I'm happy for that, brother. But what was your next one?
You got beat.
Oh, well, my memory is gone because I've been drinking
everything.
I've been drinking everything.
Everything, everywhere.
Just pop it on the screen, and I will tell you.
I
will tell you, sis. I will tell you.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh yeah, this is a I don't know if it's a Korean movie, but Everything, Everywhere at Once. I don't know much about this movie, but I know that I want to watch this movie because the way that I'm hearing is almost multiversal in a way.
From what I understood, it seems like it's like dimension hopping.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So she's like going through alternate versions of herself, or
with the movie with Jet Li, with the one, something like that.
Well, no, because this is all in the same body, though, from what I understood. Because, there's 2 trailers out for the movie, and the second one that I saw, gave a little bit of an explanation.
I didn't see the second trailer.
Okay.
I didn't see the second trailer. I'm sorry, folks.
No. But that's what I'm here for. I got you, dog. I got you. So on the second trailer, somebody was explaining it to her, and I don't know who that person was or who they were supposed to be, but it was like you're basically going to be jumping, or you're going to be able to link up with other versions of yourself from different realities.
I got that part.
And you'll be able to like pull on their skills and abilities and stuff like that. So basically she's tapping into alternate versions of herself, but it's still her as like the main person. So, that's just what it is. And I was like, oh, okay. But what got her, I want to know what got her started down this path, and how can I do it? Because I want to do that.
You know what? That's what I'm thinking. What made her, why is this happening to her? I guess they tell it in the movie.
Well, Los, you should know this one, because I know you're tricky. She starred in some, it's not her first appearance.
No, she was in Discovery.
Discovery.
That Chinese lady's a shit.
Oh yeah.
She's the emperor of Terra, which is Earth in a different universe.
Okay.
It's called Terra. They're ruthless as hell. She's bad when it comes to fighting and shit. She's the shit in there.
Yeah, I still got.
What's her name? Something Wu.
Yeah, I'm not gonna slaughter her name. So how you do that?
No, you can't slaughter it. Annie Wu or some shit.
Yeah, it's real simple. I've forgotten her name.
She's cool as hell though.
Because I haven't got all the way to Discovery. So
she's a nice looking older lady too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's cool. I liked her in Discovery, even though she was mean as fuck. But she still had a heart though. She was cool.
That works for me. But anyway, I don't mind them a little mean. But anyway, my next movie was this one called Master, starring Regina Hall. Dude, and again, I don't know much about it because I watched the trailer and it just caught my attention. But it seems to be taking place at some Ivy League school, and it's the from what I could gather, the three main characters are three black women. It's Regina Hall, Amber Gray, and Zoe Renee. And at this school, they're dealing with discrimination, of course, because they're black women in an Ivy League like setting. Mm-hmm. But then there's something about a cursed room. And Zoe Renee, the youngest, she's playing a student, I believe. She is supposedly in this cursed room, and there's stuff going on in the trailer that seems kind of supernatural, but it's not clear. And then there's also appears to be some other kind of intrigue going on at the school itself. So all of this kind of stuff, and it seems like a what's the word I'm looking for? A supernatural thriller kind of thing.
I'm about to say paranormal.
Yeah. So I like those kind of movies. So I thought it would seem interesting. Of course, three sisters as lead characters in any major motion picture. I'm on it, and none of them are talking about being, a slave. I'm definitely interested. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. And plus, I just like Regina Hall. I think she's really cute, and she's a good actress. I'm glad she's getting a chance to do more roles that are not just comedy, because she's super fucking funny. Like, back in the day, she did a lot of like comedies and stuff. But yeah, man, I'm glad she's getting a chance to actually flex her acting skills and show what she can do, because I have faith in that sister. So yeah, but
that should be a good one.
Should be interesting.
I'm about to say any honorable mentions.
There's about one life I think that you guys have. I didn't know this was. I guess this is a whole new one.
Which one? Oh, Firestarter.
Yeah,
Firestarter.
So okay, for those of y'all who don't know, Firestarter was this movie, came out back in the early 80s, I want to say. Yeah. This was the beginning of Drew Barrymore's acting career. So
pretty much.
Yeah, this was her very first movie. She was probably about and I may be off on this, but I want to say like 6 or 7 or something like that. She was young, very, very young. And if I remember right, no, I'm not going to go down that path. But anyway, so this was a movie, her first movie, and what it was based on a Stephen King novel where this child, we've all heard of like the MK Ultra program back in the 60s and stuff when the government was doing experiments with psychedelics and drugs and all of this. Well, one of those experiments produced this couple who actually did develop psychic abilities from the stuff that the government was doing to them.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that they were, it hurt them to use their abilities. So like whenever they would use the abilities, they get like a nosebleed.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
I think the dad
Well, the dad was stronger than the mom. The mom died trying to get them away from the government people who was chasing them, and she succeeded because they had a few years, I think, from the way the movie went, where they was living kind of peacefully. But then, of course, they caught up with him because the problem is that the little girl being born from parents who both had manifested these abilities, she came out a full damn blown pyrokinetic. She could literally start fires with just her mind. And not just start fires, she could throw fire. She could make fire that chased you across the ground. Because what they fucked around and found out is they pissed this little girl off in the movie. And she went, they killed her dad is what it is.
I'm remembering the movie now.
They killed her dad in the original movie. And when they did that, oh my God, she went on a rampage.
Actually, was it? I forget the actor's name, but he also played.
John Voight.
Yeah,
Johnny Voight.
He manipulated the crap out of it.
Yeah, and he played in the original movie. He played the bad guy who wanted to hunt this little girl, and he wanted this little girl to kill him because he thought having her blow him up as he shot a bullet into her head or something, that it would somehow absolve him of like all the evil shit he had done in his life or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but he was like crazy. But yeah, John Voight played the hell out of that role. He was creepy as hell. But anyway, so they basically have remade this movie with a whole new little girl, and Zac Efron is playing the dad in this version. And then the little girl's name is Ryan Armstrong. So yeah, so
it'll be the same like the old one.
From what I could
imagine what that fire.
It's more from what I could see in the trailer. It seemed to be following pretty much the same kind of storyline because you don't see the mother. All you really see is the father and the daughter. So and of course you see her flexing her.
Man, with our graphics nowadays, I can imagine how that fire. Back
Oh,
then it looked like somebody just lit a fire.
Sprayed some lighter fluid, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine how they're going.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so badass, dude. Because at one point in the trailer, somebody says at some point she might be able to literally set off a nuclear explosion just with the power of her mind or something like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, because that was her at like 8 years old. You know, and she took out literally like a whole platoon of soldiers or some shit. Right. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Then she like at the end of that movie, because it's been a while. After her dad died and just pretty much just annihilated that entire facility.
Yeah.
Didn't she kind of walk off on her own?
I mean, that's not a little girl who has to worry about anybody messing with her.
Who will fuck with her?
So I would like to hear that continuation of that story.
Well,
they did a second one.
They did a part 2, but it was trash. They did it. I want to say it was like probably mid-90s, maybe early 2000s.
They tried too soon.
But they had this young little actress. I don't remember her name, but she came in to play the lead role. And when she came in to play that lead, I mean, in that movie though, it was just her as like a teenager. And so she had like made it to be in teenagery age, but it
Carrie.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrie.
It's like they tried to make it too Carrie. I'm like, this is not the same thing as Carrie because fire is different.
Yeah,
fire is bigger. You know, yeah, you might be able to crush some people and move some stuff around, but I'm blowing people up.
Right.
I just want a mutant ability. Mine would be where I can just. I'm sorry. Drink without getting drunk. Sorry.
Then what's the purpose? Just drink water then.
No, I'd be Wolverine.
When you drink.
No, I'm just fucking with y'all people.
He-
But anyway,
He just want a new spine. That's all.
yeah, basically. I just want the healing factor. That's all I want.
He just want a bacchiotomy.
I need a back of Acme. I need a back of Acme, people.
But all right, y'all.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Good. Good to wrap it up, bro.
I'm good. It's on you.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us again for another smoke session. We appreciate you as always coming in, sitting with us for a little while and talking about the bullshit that we like to talk about. Don't forget, check out our website. If you want to know what's coming up as far as the shows and the topics and the things we're going to be talking about, please go to www.thdailysmoke.com. Thank you for joining us as always. I'm your brother Jam.
Black hand over here.
Losey Lolo on the can, brother Los.
And we are the Daily Smoke. This is the Smoke Sessions, and we are out.
Peace.
We